The battle against the HOA tyranny. It started with a fresh coat of paint and a new gate. My metal fabrication yard, Harper Steelworks, had just undergone a 6-month facelift, sleek security gates, a pressure-washed lot, and a gleaming steel sign with our name mounted above the roll-up door. The crowning touch was a 25-foot American flag, proudly hoisted near the front fence. Simple, clean, patriotic. I thought it was perfect. But to the homeowners association down the road, it was a declaration of war. I'm Jack Harper, 58, a man who spent 3 decades building things: bridges, sculptures, machine parts. My yard sits on industrial land in Washoe County, Nevada, zoned since the 90s, long before the upscale Crestview estates sprouted up nearby. I'd never had trouble with neighbors until that Friday morning when the intercom buzzed. On the screen stood Evelyn Marsh, president of the Crestview HOA, in a tailored blazer, flanked by 2 lackeys clutching a clipboard, the other a tablet. She demanded to speak about urgent compliance issues. I pressed the intercom. "You've got the owner. What's this about?" Evelyn's smile was sharp. "Your recent renovations, the sign, the flagpole, the reflective materials violate our community's aesthetic harmony covenant. We're here to onboard your property into our HOA to ensure compliance." I laughed. "Lady, this is an industrial yard, not your subdivision. I've got a grandfathered zoning exemption from 1997. You've got no jurisdiction here." Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes narrowed. She held up a packet. "This outlines our voluntary annexation process. Several nearby properties have joined us to maintain property values. Surely you understand the importance of visual harmony." "Sounds like extortion." With a smile, I shot back. "I'm not joining your HOA, now or ever. Step onto my property without a warrant, and I'll have you arrested." She left the packet dangling on the gate and walked away, her SUV double-parked across my gravel drive. My office manager, Linda, tossed the packet onto the breakroom table, calling it cult propaganda. We laughed it off and got back to work. I thought that was the end. I was dead wrong. A week later, I was in Vegas at a supplier expo when my phone pinged. "Yard cam alert, South Bay entry." Expecting a stray dog, I opened the feed and froze. 3 figures in neon vests were inside my workshop. One carried bolt cutters, another was filming with a phone, the third marked crates of precision aluminum with a black marker. They'd snapped the side gate's chain and broken the door's lock. I called Deputy Tom Vance, a sheriff's officer who patrolled the industrial zone, and reported an active break-in. He promised a unit would be there pronto. 4 hours later, I was back at the yard. The gate hung open, the lock mangled. Inside, orange circles marred high-value equipment crates. Fingerprints smudged my lathe controls. It felt like a violation not just of property, but of trust. Deputy Vance was waiting. "We pulled a plate from your footage," he said. "It's registered to Crestview HOA's enforcement team." "Enforcement?" I repeated. "They broke into my shop." He showed me a document in an evidence sleeve. "Emergency Architectural Enforcement Notice," signed by a Victor Klein, County Compliance Inspector. I'd worked for the Occupational Safety Bureau for 8 years. I knew every inspector in the county. Victor Klein didn't exist. The seal was a cheap HOA logo, not county-issued. This was fraud, plain and simple. I handed Vance the HOA's annexation packet from Evelyn. He frowned. "They're justifying this with a fake inspector's name? That's criminal fraud, maybe federal." By nightfall, my yard was a crime scene, with yellow tape across the entrance. I uploaded the footage to a secure cloud and called the county DA's office, cashing in old favors. The forged inspector's name got their attention fast. The next morning, I was at the DA's office with Assistant DA Clara Holt. She scanned the fake document. "Who's Victor Klein?" "He's a ghost," I said. "And that seal?" "Hobby store junk." Clara leaned back. "They staged a fake inspection on industrial land and documented it. This is premeditated." I showed her the footage. A man in a Crestview cap picking the lock, 2 others marking crates like they owned the place. By noon, a criminal case was open: trespass, vandalism, fraud, conspiracy. The impersonation angle made it a priority. But I wasn't done. I dug up my zoning records, industrial usage history, and property registration from 1996. This wasn't just a fight. It was a war against HOA arrogance. Then Crestview struck back. They filed a sheriff's complaint, claiming I'd threatened their safety and defamed them. They even cited my private industrial zone sign as evidence of antagonism. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. They were flipping the narrative, painting me as the villain. That night, a Reno Gazette reporter emailed me, attaching a Crestview statement calling my yard an eyesore and me hostile. I went on record. They forged credentials, trespassed, and vandalized my business. They're not victims theory criminals. The story hit the paper, and Crestview doubled down. Evelyn sent a letter to residents, accusing me of a media smear campaign and calling me a neighborhood threat. They were prepping a civil suit, trying to bury me in legal fees. I wasn't waiting for their next move. I hired Mike Darrow, a property law attorney with a knack for crushing HOAs. They want to sue, he said. We'll bury them. We filed a counterclaim: harassment, coercion, property damage, fraud, and reputational harm. Mike subpoenaed Crestview's internal communications and financials. Then a man named Ed Willis showed up at my yard. In his late 60s, he owned a small carpentry shop nearby. 2 years ago, Crestview had bullied him into joining their HOA with fake code violations. He'd paid dues for nothing, his yard forcibly landscaped with HOA-approved gravel. I didn't fight myself, he said. But you do. Ed signed an affidavit. Then Sarah Klein, a former Crestview treasurer, contacted Mike. Nervous but resolute, she brought memos from Evelyn outlining visual assimilation tactics, minutes showing plans to pressure problem zones, and expense logs for special visual audits paid to unlicensed contractors. One memo named me. If Harper refuses, proceed with pressure. It was a goldmine. The Nevada Attorney General's office jumped in after we sent them the forged document. Investigator Lisa Crane called, requesting everything: footage, memos, Ed's affidavit, Sarah's emails. 2 days later, they raided Crestview's community center, seizing computers and ledgers. The HOA was crumbling. Sarah tipped us off about an emergency board meeting where Evelyn ordered email deletions. We sent a spoliation notice, and the AG recovered the deleted emails from server backups. The media exploded. The Reno Gazette ran HOA or crime syndicate, with stills of the break-in and redacted memos. Public opinion turned. Residents peeled HOA decals off their cars. My inbox filled with support, some offering donations to fight the HOA cartel. Evelyn posted a deranged statement, accusing the AG of a politically weaponized attack and calling me a rogue industrialist. It backfired. The AG issued a target letter to Evelyn for forgery, trespass, fraud, and impersonation. The dominoes fell fast. Crestview's treasurer resigned, admitting to signing blank checks under pressure. The AG's audit uncovered tens of thousands diverted to fake projects and shady contractors, one with a criminal record. Mike filed for $700,000 in punitive damages for lost revenue and harassment. The state froze Crestview's operations, and Evelyn was arrested at home, screaming about justice in a floral robe as deputies cuffed her. The trial was a slaughter. In Clark County Superior Court, Mike played the footage of the break-in, showed Evelyn's emails, and presented Sarah's testimony about rigged votes and fake projects. Ed described the violation notice taped to his window. The jury didn't blink. Evelyn's lawyer claimed misguided intent, but the judge wasn't buying it. You can't claim good faith when you're burning the rulebook. The verdict: guilty on all counts. Evelyn got 12 years, no parole for 8. Crestview's HOA was dissolved, its assets auctioned, and its community center sold. Residents voted to self-manage, forming a voluntary group with no fees. My yard was mine again. I added a new sign: private industrial zone, never part of any HOA. Business boomed, with 3 new clients in weeks. Ed bought back his lot. Sarah joined a law firm. Crestview's streets were quiet. No patrols, no aesthetic police. One morning, I gave a tour to new business owners eyeing nearby lots. They asked about zoning and weird associations. I pointed to my sign. This land's clean, I said. No HOA, no drama, just work. They grinned. You must have fought like hell. I nodded, staring at the flag waving above my yard. You have no idea. What do you think? Have you ever faced bullies like this HOA? Or seen injustice in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments. Should people fight back against overreach? Or is there a better way? Let's hear your take.